In Detective, you're working together to solve a crime. But this isn't any old board game. You're not solving a crime. In Detective, you're reading through case files, interrogating witnesses, matching fingerprints in the lab, and researching your findings on the internet. You're doing real detective work. This video represents my return to making considered, passionate board game reviews. If you'd like to help fund more, go to patreon.com/Actualol. You're brought up to speed with the case and given 3 leads that you can follow up on at any time, in any order. But first you should check the police database. Look up the files on the people involved. So you pull up the site on your laptop or phone and type in their name. There it is, a photo with height, weight, shoe size, date of birth and criminal records. The website is perfect. It's unassuming, workmanlike, like you'd imagine a real police database would be. And it's great that you don't have to install an app, you just log in on whatever device you're using that day. Time is scarce. The rulebook warns you that you won't be able to follow up on every lead, meet every witness or test every fingerprint, and it's not lying. At the end of case 2, we had 10 cards left over, full of juicy text that we'll never get to read. If you make the wrong decisions, then you won't be able to solve the case, so you take those decisions seriously. Is it worth interviewing the neighbor? What are they really going to know? As a team, you discuss the potential merits of each lead. I love that these discussions aren't about gaming mechanisms. We're not arguing about mathematical probabilities. We're having a conversation that sounds real, about a case that sounds real. Instead of accessing the efficiency engine part of our brains, we're using our emotional intelligence, our knowledge of how society works, how people work. Your gaming instinct tells you to interview them anyway, loot every crate in the dungeon. But your 34 years of experience on this earth tells you that you're wasting time, and you need to listen to that because in this game, it's right. But it will toy with you. You follow a lead that should be fruitful and get nothing. Then the card teases you with the prospect of more. If you choose to dig deeper, spend a token, you can flip the card. Imagine what could be underneath. It could be a wall of raw text. It could be the breakthrough you've been looking for. It could bust this case wide open. Or it could be nothing. But it probably isn't, is it? You already wasted 3 hours searching the archives, you may as well double down by spending the token. Skill tokens are hard to come by. In one case we'd spent all of ours by day 3 with no way to get them back. Card after card would pass us by unflipped, feeling like it contained the meaning of life on the underside. You've also got to take into account how many hours you'll waste driving across town to each new lead. What's running under Detective's hood is a slick, barely noticeable system that creates tension. It's exactly what a game like this needed. Detective's unique selling point, and what got me excited about this game, is that it requires you to research real-world information to solve the case. It's a genius conceit. What better way to make players feel like they're real detectives than by breaking the fourth wall of their fictional precinct and telling them to step out into the real world beyond it? You'll be Googling names and maps to give crucial context to witness statements and case files. It feels incredible when the information you find on Wikipedia suddenly clicks everything into place. My only complaint is that it holds your hand a little too much. The game tells you when to turn to the internet by showing you this Wi-Fi symbol. It takes some of the joy out of the exploration because often you'll find the answer you're being led towards within seconds of typing it into Google. I understand why the designers have done it, to avoid the world's worst detectives from overthinking every sentence of every case and spending 50 hours on Google convinced that Portal Games have hidden a code in the way that the paragraphs are spaced. I just wish that the rest of us weren't forced to play the game at the speed of the slowest players. Detective's biggest weakness is thankfully superficial. The text in the game is clunky, repetitive, and at times cringeworthy. It will beat you over the head with cliches of bad coffee, pouring rain, and how hard it is to find anything in police archives. Here's an example. The rain starts to annoy you, but what irks you even more is that some stickler did not want to mail the scans, so you had to go down to get them personally. You reach the precinct, entering the official entrance on the other side of the lobby, away from the hustle and bustle of detainees. You pass the investigation room on the right,
turning next to the locker room and the showers, and reach the archive located at the end of the corridor. You flash your badge, fill out a request form, turn it in, then sit in an old metal chair to wait. This part of the police station is quiet and peaceful.
You spend the next several minutes savouring the legendary Richmond PD vending machine coffee, known as the worst sludge. The writing is obsessed with the minutiae of police work. There is nothing in that text that is relevant to the case, it's padding, and you'll read it on every card in the game. You will laugh at and get frustrated by every mention of coffee and rain. It will break your fourth wall, but not in the way that Detective intended. Look, I don't want clues that are delivered cold. I love the storytelling in Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, but here it's got no character, no humour. It's like it's begging you to skip it, which, for a game that has board games that tell stories emblazoned on the box, is disappointing. It tells you just how much I love this game that I can live with the bad writing, and I would urge you to look past it too. Where the game excels is in its mysteries. They're sophisticated, multi-layered cases that will really challenge you. There were moments in Detective when we were sat around throwing out theories, trying to work out motives and corroborate witness statements with material evidence that were some of the best times I've had with a board game ever. The 5 cases are linked by a series arc. You can unlock leads in case 1 that will help you in case 5. It fills you with this wonderful paranoia that everything is connected. If I had a pinboard and bits of string, I would have become Charlie Kelly ranting about Pepe Sylvia. The few flaws in Detective are blips. What shines through is the most complete crime-solving experience in a board game. Interrogation reports that show the suspect's stress levels, a police database, DNA matching, and turning to the internet for clues. You have to delve so deep into this story rich with intrigue that you can't help but be immersed. If you like cooperative games and solving crimes, you have to get this game. Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective is one of my favourite games of all time, and Detective takes that 37-year-old concept and brings it up to speed with the modern world and modern board gaming. This universe can run and run, and I can't wait to see what they do next with it. But already it's one of my favourite games of all time. Detective, a modern crime board game, gets a seal of Actualol. If you like this review and want to see more like it, please subscribe to the channel and consider pledging your support at patreon.com/Actualol. I'm Jon Purkis, thanks for watching.